I'm in the larger square.
The more I look at it, the stuff, because like we were talking about like the real estate stuff. Fuck, I think I'm not a real estate guy. It's a lot harder than I thought, bro.
No, of course, because but it depends though, because if you're doing like the Section 8, like you were doing with your mentor, I think in that retrospect, if you have a grasp on how everything works to a certain degree, then it can work out. But I think but
the due diligence, the process, it's so crazy because this is the way I think about it, right? I'm gonna do all this work for fucking like $500, $600 a month.
Right, that's where you have to keep building up.
Which is great, it's passive.
Right.
But then the more I think about it, with all that work, I could make like maybe 4 or 5 YouTube videos that'll make me $500, $600 a month anyways. Right. And on top of that, they'll drive traffic to a product that makes me even more money, whereas the real estate doesn't. So it's like, what's a better use of my time? Like finding these deals, putting in offers, having to clear all the inspections, shit I'm not even good at, right? And I understand like you gotta be uncomfortable to do it. Or should I just focus on one thing that I'm good at? Just make fucking content, make videos. Because I've been dropping videos lately on YouTube, and I'm like, this is 10 times easier. I have a team that edits everything. I know what I'm talking about. They're gonna print me fucking money forever. So that's my real estate right there. Because content is real estate.
It is.
It's just digital real estate.
Right.
So every little video you have on the internet, they're all fucking, they're like little minions working for you.
Right. Because it all depends on what it is that you're doing. Ultimately, what's your goals as well? Because like we were talking a couple of months ago before you jumped into it, it was like, all right, can you establish that tangible, I guess, asset? Yeah. Because all of the digital assets is great, but then if in the event there was a moment in which Wi-Fi, like an EMP went off, now you got no Wi-Fi for a month or whatever. Now you really can't work if you don't have the physical, asset that's there. So with real estate, that gives you that. But there's a lot of headache that comes with it because it looks sexy on paper. But when you have all of these hidden fees that things have to happen, or you don't have occupancy for certain sort of situations.
It's more so like inspection. Oh, you got to sign off on this. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. Oh, you got to do this. And it's like, fuck, bro.
And fixing shit. Like one of my buddies, he just bought his second property. When he went to go view everything, there was almost virtually no super problems. It seemed as if everything was minor. Comes back 3 weeks later after acquiring the property and everything, goes into the bathroom. It's like, why does this look like something's going on with the drywall? Puts his hand through, the entire wall falls down. So it's like you can have 2 weeks where things look great and then afterwards then shit hits the fan and it looks terrible. So I mean, with real estate, it's always gonna have problems in every business model. But
so what I was thinking, I was like, man, you know what? Knowing myself, I'd be dumb to just fucking continue to continue just racking these up because I'm actually losing money if I think about it. Like, sure, I'm getting a physical asset and I have like passive income, but at the pace it's going, I could put all of this energy into just creating more content, and the content will then produce that $500, $600, $700 a month, sometimes even more. Like when I think about like people like you or having another friend that's a YouTuber as well, each video is just fucking a money printer. Right. It's like having someone that just gives their entire salary to you, Like there's a, it's actually funny. When 50 Cent and Mayweather were beefing. Yeah. And Mayweather he's like, he Googles 50 Cent's net worth and it's like 25 million. And then he shows a picture of his watch and he's like, don't beef with me, beef with my watch. Right. Because it's different. It's a different tax bracket. You could say that to someone too, because you have a YouTube video that's just making a bunch of money. Let's say you have a video that makes $70,000 in a year, or $50,000 in a year. My little brother makes $50,000 in a year. Right. So it's like his entire salary, just one YouTube video will produce. It all depends on like what brings you the amount of money. What's your active, I guess, income that turns into passive, really, and then what's your strengths? Because I think Gary Vee always told me, double down on strength, don't focus on weaknesses or whatever the case is. Pay somebody else to go take care of the weaknesses. So it all depends. Because I think if you can make an incredible amount of money in a short period of time through what your strength is, you can buy back the money you would have made, on the passive back end. Because like, for example, when you're saying, all right, $400, $500, $600 passively if you were to acquire a property and then you have to get another one, then you have to get another one to slowly compound. If you can make $1 million or maybe 500,000 or even $250,000 to where that's your net that you're bringing back, or even 100,000 down the line, give yourself 10 years of doing that. Now you have $1 million. You can go buy a big ass property that can now bring you like 40,000 or 30,000 or something monthly, because the more money you have, the bigger the asset you can acquire. Exactly. So the way I look at it, I'm like, man, should I just buy all these tiny little houses, or should I say fuck it and just buy one big motherfucker like one of these towers right here.
Right.
Make 100 M's or make 15 M's liquid, finance the rest, put 15% down, buy a $100 million tower. That tower's bringing in millions of dollars a year. It'd be the equivalent of me having all these houses, except it's just one massive deal instead.
Exactly.
So that's the way I look at it.
That's the same way, because the only thing I'll ever do is, because I haven't bought like a house yet, so I know I still have that FHA loan or whatever. So what I'd probably do is I'd have 2 properties. You get like one with up to 4 doors. My primary coastal appointment, go get her spot, go utilize the FHA. Now we have 2 different spots, total of 8 doors. And then from that point, just stack all of the money, go grab a big ass fucking asset somewhere, maybe an apartment complex, 24 doors, 30 doors. Well, I don't know about island, because unless people are already, living there to where I can go and make some more revenue off of it, just off the purchase alone, then at that point, now you can really cash flow.
Island, they got kids there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got kids against their will. So I don't think that's an island that I would want to purchase. Pay rent, though. No, they don't. They are paying in different ways. That's not how you want. That's not how you want to deal with it.
Terrible investment there. That's a terrible.
Terrible. No.
Island is a terrible investment.
And you have to deal with the demons that exist on the island that aren't able to be physically or visibly seen.
Demons that tax write-off?
No, there's a CPA. I'm right now. You can go on Instagram. There's probably a CPA out there who's somebody who's a finance or tax guru. Hey, let me tell you how you can write off these demons. You have mental illness. Let me show you how you can make some money off of it. Like it's an endless amount of individuals who can try to find ways to make money off.
No, 100%. All right, just complete side note, by the way. I hope I don't offend you when I say this. I don't think I've ever said anything that offended you.
Oh, Lord. Today could be the first day. What's up
with all the fucking cannibals? The Haitian cannibals.
I did hear about that. Yeah, I did hear about that.
I was kind of like, I didn't want you to come here today because I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if me and David were going to look tasty to you. I don't know what the
How did I just develop? These are people who broke out of prison. I want to eat people. How did I now develop the cannibalism? But it is a little concerning. It is a little concerning. What is going on with
that, bro? I saw that. I was like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I don't. Because there was about, I think it was 7,500 Haitians who had broke out of the prison over there. And it seems as if whoever they have appointed as the guy, like some dude named the barbecue man or something over there, and I don't think he's like the face of the whole situation, but they're appointing him like the gang leader, who's the cause of all the other shit. I don't know why there's people who want to just go and eat people, but it's a little concerning for the townspeople over there. It's a little concerning. I'm not sure what the catalyst of everything is, but there might just be people who are so hungry to where they say, hey, I'm trying to eat people.
Bro, the internet ran away with the Haitian.
Of course it did.
Because I started seeing like all the fucking fake propaganda. Like I saw a video, it was circulating on Twitter, and it's like a guy on a spit roast, like a human on a spit roast, like spinning. No. And I was like, my friend went to Haiti and this is what he saw.
Damn.
And then there's the community notes underneath. There's like, this was from like a Halloween exhibit. This was not
the internet's always going to run with stuff. Like when there was the people in Kenya, when they do like the human jump rope thing and everything. Like I guess when you don't have jump ropes, you have to invent your own. Like it's cold, bro. The internet's going to run with anything.
So it's not that bad then. It's just like an over exaggeration. Like
It's always over.
It was like one of those things where like, fuck, okay, they ate maybe 1 or 2 people. And then now they ran with it. Now they eat people.
Right, like last year, I think there was it was on Twitter where it was going viral. There was a news reporter who went to this island where it was just a cannibal island, and they were in the midst of the interview, and the guy had put, I guess it was like human flesh or bone that was like on their head, like a crown kind of situation, and the interviewer got uncomfortable, so his cameraman or whatever had walked over, and the guy was getting agitated, the cannibal dude, we'll eat you or something of that nature.
I was like, if you're gonna be lunch or something,
right? Something of that nature, and then he was like, yo, I'm a little uncomfortable here. So ultimately, situations like that, I don't want to say it's taboo because it just doesn't seem regular for somebody to want to eat somebody.
I love it because it becomes like the culture takes over.
Right.
And people are so fucking funny when they have no human creativity. You want to experience human creativity at its pinnacle? Go on Twitter. Because with the Haitian ones, like when your friend invites you over for a barbecue, but he's Haitian, and the guy's like, it's like a meme.
It's never, and because if you take the emotional, I guess, aspect out of it, and you just view it for just to be funny, you'll have the time of your life on social. I always look at social media for what it's supposed to, or what it used to be, where it's all just humor. So that way I don't get offended by, which I understand if people do. Because ultimately, if hey, there's your people, you feel. I'm not gonna hold you to that, but I look at it like, hey, I'm gonna remove my emotion from it. I'm just gonna look at it from the realm of I want to laugh, and that way I could laugh and belly laugh and move forward with it. Because I don't try to take nothing personal, and moreover, it's the internet.
Yeah.
It's the internet. I don't know this person. This person doesn't know me. I'm not going to sit over here and get, so frustrated to where I can't function because I read something online. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Even with the cannibals too. The cannibals, they were like, it was like, man, his skinny ass, what is his skinny ass gonna do to me? I'm like, that's a valid point though. Like I thought about it, like, you're a cannibal, but like, look how tiny you are, bro. What you gonna do to me?
Yeah, right. You're gonna have to work to eat unless they like get like an arrow, bow and arrow, something like that.
Do you think humans are like nutritious?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. I wouldn't know. Well, then again, depending on how you eat.
Like, man, I wouldn't know.
Then again, depending on how you eat, perhaps you can. Like a human thigh, could that be like a steak for somebody?
A human
I don't
thigh?
know.
I feel like what is muscular and what is fat? Like, because I feel like some fat people, you're just eating like a fat. It's just blubber.
Yeah, Wagyu.
That's not even a Wagyu. Wagyu is like the fat. What
it's
makes
more
a Wagyu
fat
special?
on Wagyu, right? There's more fat
but it's
on
like
Wagyu.
the fat is like marbled into the muscle, so it's like a combination of like, because sometimes when you get a steak,
if
it's
you're like
lean,
50%,
then
like
you
your
cut the fat off.
BMI.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be very tasty. You just
so like.
All
I'm
cholesterol.
curious if it was nutritious. Anyways, what is this?
Oh, is that a statistic for if humans are nutritious?
New study. Okay, here. New study fleshes out the nutritional value of human meat. First of all, how are they studying this? What
That's a
in
good
the
question.
world?
Maybe McDonald's.
The caloric value of human body is surprisingly low compared to other prehistoric food options.
Huh.
Low, so humans are not healthy. That's why this cannibal dude was so skinny.
Maybe you're not getting.
He was just not getting his nutrients.
You're getting more sick by eating more individuals. That's a bad idea.
Let's see. Reading.
Can you be a
words.
Vegan cannibal?
Vegan cannibal?
Would that be? No, because if you think about veganism, don't they make like it's pseudo meat, right? So then, if you're vegan, what would be the vegan version of a human? Right. Yeah, fair enough. The mystery
the
meat.
meaty human thighs have 13,000 calories.
But how would they figure out? See, they must have been studied. See, they're running experiments. There's cannibals among us.
125,000 calories.
Because how do you calculate all of that?
Yeah,
well, then again, I'm not big into the sciences and all the statistics and things of that nature with the human body. So
I guess it's not even nutrition. It's just so tiny. Like for a mammoth, you can get 3.6 million calories. Feed a fucking village. But with a human, it's like 100,000 calories. That's like you feed a tribe.
And
maybe.
how much humans would it take to consume to where you'd feel filled for that day?
I mean, if the average person does like a 3,000, 4,000 calorie diet every single day, you feeding maybe like 30 people, 20 to 30 people, but that's if they eat the entire human though.
Wow.
Meaning
so
like
how long? So let's just say if we should even dive deep into this. But now this makes me wonder: how if we were all cannibals, how long would it take before human existence is extinct? Well, if everybody was a cannibal. From where we stand right now at, I think currently 8 billion.
If one human, then we're about to get mathematical in this bitch.
Right.
If one human feeds 30 humans for a day, that would mean that's like 3%. So we would lose 3% of our population every single day. But then it gets smaller
daily. Okay.
Yeah, so like the first day you would lose 3% of your population, but then the next day you would lose like 2.99999%. The next day you would lose like 2.888%. Then after that it'd be like 2.7%, then 2.6% because it's continually getting smaller. So
who gets eaten first? The elderly, the youth.
Well, if we've come to that point, like, wouldn't you agree that it's like the weakest ones?
Well, yeah, the weakest ones would have to get
eat you or me because like
it'd be survival of the fittest towards the end. But then again, there might be those who are saying that the more fit would probably be more nutritious.
Nah, but it's like but like how the fuck if you're saying I'm more nutritious, how the fuck you gonna catch me?
Correct. But the challenge of it, because there are people who are thrill seekers.
The only people that are gonna catch the more fit people are the people that are fit. But then if they're also fit, they're also going to be on the run, in theory.
Now, freshly deceased people, are they getting eaten as well?
I mean, if they die, it just depends. Like, did they die from fucking like Ebola? Now you're eating contaminated
Yeah, because
meat.
you wouldn't want to, because you're not going to be no grave digger going to like the
Like if
cemetery
Magic
to go
Johnson
consume.
died, you're like,
Right. Because
You're like,
if you find somebody on the street, then nobody. Yeah, that'd be terrible.
You're not eating
Johnson's Johnson, Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, and then who gets that part? Like who?
Right.
How do we determine? Like, because obviously I want the thigh, because the thigh is gonna be like the most.
Ah, but that's
part.
too close. It's too close to the Johnson. Does that make it gay?
Well, like if you get it like
What's
far
the
enough-
cutoff point?
Yeah.
I ate another man. Oh, did you now?
Yeah, what part? Yeah.
Oh, boy, this is
Because
the
when does it
cannibalistic
become
pod.
sus? I guess the girls could eat that part.
Well, I don't know. What if somebody's pregnant? Is it a double meal?
Oh, that's like it's a combo.
Combo?
Burger and fries right there. Boom, boom.
Good Lord, the cannibalistic podcast, huh?
But yeah, but bro. So when you think about it, I think it would be like the easiest ones to get.
You know, although it's taboo, relatively disgusting, it really makes me think about those cannibalists, because there are cannibals who do exist.
that.
There are those islands that are relatively secluded that, they do practice cannibalism. It makes me wonder if there was a way to really study the statistic.
I don't think it's sustainable, bro. I'm pretty sure they eat other shit. And
No,
then,
there's no way. I think it gets to a point in which if you have to eat, then you're
Yeah.
gonna go in.
yeah, and it's like they have like, oh, you know what? Like, hey, for once a year we got Christmas, but our Christmas instead of presents, we fucking eat somebody.
Right.
And I'm sure they make it like a thing, like, yo, it would be an honor
So they're all
to feed.
collectively eating one
Yeah, but they make it like a
Okay.
ritual, like, yo, it's an honor to
to be eaten.
be eaten. Because that's what they did when they used to sacrifice people to the sun god. They'd be like, it's an honor to be sacrificed to the sun god.
I thought they were doing that as a form of punishment. I forget.
No, I'm pretty sure they were like making it like to be like, this is an honor. Like we're sacrificing a virgin to the sun god.
Oh yeah. I
It's like,
remember
this is an
that.
honor
Yeah,
for
right.
you. Don't worry. Like I feel like that's what they do with cannibalism. They're like, yo, it's gonna hurt, but don't worry, it's gonna be an honor.
Ah, interesting.
That's how you get people, bro. You psyop them. They've been doing psyops forever.
Right. Like, funny enough that you bring up like the sacrificial stuff. I was looking at some of the forms of like corporal punishment. It was on Twitter where they had something where they had, it's like ancient, I believe it was ancient Chinese, to where they had the person lay down and they were like held down, and then the bamboo would grow through them. So that was something that was very, very, very intriguing to me, because that's got to be a terrible way to die. Oh, good Lord. That was like 8 sneezes in one.
Yeah, it was like a 5 sneezer.
Trying to package value meal sneeze. That's interesting. Okay. And they also had the other one where it's like they drop the water,
Chinese water
on
torture.
the head.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know. It's very interesting. I never really wanted to look too deep into corporal punishment, only because you said sacrificial. That's what popped into my mind.
Well, I don't even know if it's sacrificial. That's like, if I had enemies, I would get them with some weird shit like that. Like hit them with that raindrop in their forehead, or hit them with that fucking bamboo up the asshole. Like that.
Up the asshole is crazy.
Well, okay, stop. Think about it for a second.
So
if you're about to get tortured, and I'm really torturing you, you had an enemy. What are you putting in that bamboo?
Where am I putting the bamboo?
Let's say you have them like held down.
I mean,
tied down.
ultimately, in a situation like that, death is imminent. So it really doesn't matter where it goes.
Nah. But you wanted to torture them. Where is it going? The bamboo's going in the asshole.
Oh, so you would have them suspended vertically, and then the bamboo just grow.
Well, no, they would be laying down, tied down like this.
Oh, so it would. Oh no!
And the
See,
bamboo would
that's
just go
good.
up straight into
So at
their
that point, it
asshole.
cracks through the pelvis, and then perhaps even through
If it
there,
goes to the ass, yeah, it would have to go.
the
through all
bamboo
that.
would replace their appendage.
Yeah,
that's a
man.
terrible. That's a terrible way to die.
That's torture, though.
It is.
That is
Makes you
torture.
wonder how fast somebody would
Because if it goes
die.
to the fucking stomach, it's like, okay, oh no, it's going to my stomach, I'm dead. The asshole, now it's like, you're gay.
Oh, good Lord! Wow. Okay,
You're-
sodomy
you're
into.
gay and then you die.
Well, if it's public humiliation, then at that
Yeah.
point, good Lord, that's a terrible way
So
to
they
go.
get to see him, you know?
That's a terrible way to go. See, boy, they was really killing people in so many different ways. The
know.
guillotine, slashing off somebody's
I thought
head.
that's easy, though. You just-
It is. It's because it's fast. The guillotine, the burning somebody alive or something. They have you suspended, and then they burn you alive. Waterboard was more interrogation, but there were people who obviously died by way of that.
I mean, that was relatively recent. That
Right.
wasn't like medieval. That was like Afghanistan.
Right. I think they still have waterboarding that's going on. I'm pretty
crazy,
sure it's
bro.
supposed to be outlawed in certain
That's
locations, but
wild.
there's probably still places in which they do it. Burning, that, firing squad, execution, but that was fast, depending on, if they were shooting they're shooting at legs first and then they work their way up, that would be brutal, but I'm sure they just let off and keep.
Firing squad,
now they kind of have you held down, so it's kind of difficult to jump, and
how do they hold you down? Oh, they tie you.
Yeah, they tie you to like the back, because if it's one thing if they just let y'all go out, run, and then they just start shooting. So if you could get away, you get away.
Oh, I would get away.
But that'd be brutal. I know exile was in the past where you could die by way of like famine.
That's fucking
things of
dumb.
that nature.
Exile me. I come back, I have more food than everyone else.
Right. You know what's funny is when I was younger, and then I'd see people like you'd read about how they were exiled to like the desert, or maybe you were exiled to like the ice caps or whatever the case is. Like, oh, you're giving somebody an opportunity to still live. Like, you just can't come back here. So if you're a discoverer or something of that nature, you know where to go. You can kind of survive.
Oh, that's crazy.
But
what if like someone exiled you, just come back, you're like, yo, I discovered America. Or I found America.
That'd be interesting. Nowadays, it'd be if somebody gets exiled, you kind of have to kill them, because you go elsewhere. You know there's life anywhere else.
Me is like, oh, cool, I'm the king of Mexico now.
Now, unless you send somebody like the Cannibal Island, then that point,
I'll become their king too.
Well, I mean, if they don't eat you.
So I think about it, right? Like, okay, cool. At the same time, like, I've lived my entire life here. I'm just a lot more nutritious than you, bro. Like, I have more nutrients. I probably am stronger. You're probably smaller, less strong. You've developed no muscles because you're eating people the entire time. I'm eating fucking like real food.
What if they're eating Samoans?
So, yeah, if they're eating Samoans, I don't think a Samoan would like, I don't think they would let that slide though.
No, they wouldn't. But let's just say this is an individual who's eating Samoans. The Samoans are aware of it, and the Samoans are fearful of this person. Now you're fucked.
But like, do they, is it kind of like you know how people eat like bull testicles and they eat a testicle and they get the power of the bull? Is it like, do they eat a Samoan testicle and get the power of a Samoan?
Perhaps if they're eating all of the Samoan, like they pull up, they ate the rock, right? They ate the rock.
Like gay.
At that point, they show up, and now you're dealing with the stone. You're going to have a bad time.
I mean, listen, if I go like that, it's not a bad way to die. I think if I were to die, I'm not scared of the dying. I'm scared of the humiliation that comes with dying. If I let a skinny ass, like malnourished cannibal kill me, that's embarrassing, bro. Mm-hmm. That's embarrassing. But if it's like, okay, this cannibal killed me, but he was built like the fucking rock. I'm like, hey.
Yeah, so you could go out with honor. So that makes it, okay, I got
cool.
you.
Like, oh, he got eaten by cannibals. I'm like, okay, but like anyone would have in that position.
Right.
But if a skinny ass dude were like to eat
if it was
me,
like one-on-one and then you lost.
That's embarrassing, bro.
Right. So if you're watching the death play-by-play, it doesn't feel too good in the afterlife.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I live my life like it's televised. So I think about that. This switch to a completely serious note. Mm-hmm. I live my life like it's televised, and everything I do it as if everyone were to see my life. Because at some point I want to make a movie about my life and I don't want to lie. So anything I do, I want it to be televised. I don't want to have any shame with anything I do, right? So that's why I don't like fucking masturbate. I don't like do anything weird. I try to make sure that I act like my life is televised. I pretend people are watching me. Mm-hmm. So I think about it, right? And to an extent, if you believe in like the afterlife and your ancestors, they're watching you. You know, like how would your fucking grandma feel if you're sitting there fucking beating your meat, right? You have to think your grandma watching you every single time you do that. It's crazy. So I try to live my life like it's televised, and I feel like it helps you live a better life because you just want to be cool as fuck. Like no matter what, I just be working. I'm like, yo, man, people saw me working right now. They'd be like, this dude's a hard worker.
That is true. Now, the only downside, I guess, with all that, your grandmother would watch you be intimate with your wife. So.
Yeah, but then it's one of those things
At
where
least
it's like, damn, my grandson putting it down. Like, he doing it. You know?
That'd be a bizarre.
It's super weird.
Well, one way or another. I mean, but that makes me wonder about reality television, seamless transition. So with every move being recorded, I know now there's not necessarily now, perhaps maybe the last 10, 5 years.
Blind, right?
There's a ton of different shows. The 90 Day Fiance, Love is Blind, The Bachelor, Bachelorette. Although I don't know if those counts. Are the Bachelor, Bachelorette count as reality television as well? Yeah. So how many shows do they have? Don't Love Island? Isn't that one as well? Too hot to handle. A ton of those regarding 100%. Like love and reality, but I think primarily around relationships. It's incredibly popular now, but what I don't understand is I'd love to know the percentage of how many people who go onto there and leave a couple
It's
remain
incredibly
a couple.
low. It's like fucking 10%. The reason why, this coming from someone who's been on reality TV, I did an MTV show. These producers, think about it. If we're making a show, we're creating content, because they're just content creators at the highest level.
Right.
But I don't even know about the highest level anymore, but like with the most money. So their job is to create compelling content and create a story based on real life, reality TV. So like Love is Blind, they're almost like painting that picture. They're like, okay, let's get all of these different people. Let's see how it plays out. Depending on how it plays out, they're like, oh, let's kind of pencil this in. Let's try to make this happen or this happen, because this would be so juicy if this happened. This would be super dramatic. We get a bunch of views if this happened. It's almost like they bring all these people together from different walks of life.
Right.
Because they know it's going to be a fucking shit show, but that shit show is going to equal views, watching. Because Love is Blind, like, David was talking about it. I don't know if have you seen it or no?
I only seen 2 episodes.
So my wife watched the entire thing. She's literally addicted. Every time I walk into my living room, it's like Love is Blind is on. She's like, it's so good. And she's posting about it on her story for free. They're not paying her to post about it, but she's on her story like, oh my God, guys, this is such a good like episode.
Right.
Fuck it, that's exactly what they wanted. So with reality TV, I don't know, like...
They bank on drama.
Yeah.
They need the drama. But what's so weird to me is the goal of the show, at least how it's presented, is the idea, and we'll stay on Love is Blind for now, is this idea of love being blind. I don't think that's... And,
fuck?
And I think it's foolish to think that way. Now, if you think it's like blind of flaw or whatever the case is.
This is why I think that's untrue also, because
Right.
if Love was really blind, they would cast some ugly fucking people. If you notice, they casted, I feel like when they cast people that are like relatively like, okay, I would date
average
this
to very attractive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, Love is not blind, otherwise you would cast this differently.
Correct.
Because they don't want the result of like, let's say you match with just a completely ugly person, and you come out and you're like, oh, fuck no.
Right.
That's how I would be.
But what's interesting about that is, even in that happening, people would have a natural outrage to say, oh, this person's very shallow or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you were to take those very same people and put them in your shoes in that moment of you believing this person, because at the end of the day, even though you can love somebody for so much more things than just their attractiveness plays a role.
100%.
You
I
can't
agree.
sit there and make it seem as if you could just be with somebody who is not moderately attractive at all. Like there are outliers. Like, for example, it's gonna sound fucked up, but people who are born with or happen to have like disability to a certain degree to where now your physical is affected. Like if you're somebody who unfortunately had a stroke or something, and then half of your body is like either not working or something. Anybody would say that will lower your chance of being able to get a partner. It doesn't say that you can't get one, but most people would say they wouldn't want to be with somebody who happens to look like they were a victim of something, like even burn victims or something. It's not easy to go find a partner. Not to say that it's not possible. You still could. But if you were just on a show, you didn't know, though, they could have been like, hey, I had an accident or something like that. Okay, cool. You have no idea how bad it is. Now you see them and you're like, oh, this ain't gonna work for me. Or you could do like the Randy Jackson. It's a no for me.
It's a silly idea. I watched the very first season of Love is Blind, and I think that was what made it a hit, because like they're together to this day.
Right.
So the people that won, they were like attracted to each other. They were talking. It was really like cute. They ended up together, and to this day they're still together. Like 6 years later or 5 years later, right? And it was like one of those things where like this experiment worked out.
Right,
And it helped. It was like a white guy and a black girl. And they just ended up together. They loved each other genuinely. Like it was one of those cases where it worked out.
Right.
But 90% of the time, I don't think that's going to be the case.
See, that's where I look at it, like how many other relationships that were built from it.
Right. Like if I was there, right, I'd just be in there like, what's up? Yeah, I made $1 million. Yep.
I'm like it boosts you with the clout.
I'm like 6'2". Yep. Yeah, some people say I got abs, but I don't know. Like they say I got an 8-pack. I personally think it's like more of a 6-pack. Like I would just fucking cap out my fucking ass.
And they would keep you because it builds the drama, and the 100%. Viewers would hate you so much 100%. That they would keep tuning in to where you don't even have to be genuine. Like I saw and one of the 2 episodes that I had saw, there was a girl who said she looked like Megan Fox.
I remember my wife told me about that.
Right.
Yeah.
And what threw me off was, for one, I think they had a viral TikTok that talked about it. She does kind of look like Megan Fox. If you took her face and put it on like Jay Leno's head, then it works. But my thing when I looked at it was like, all right, if you're going to say that's the case, you kind of have to be very descriptive when you say you look like somebody. So what is the body type the same? How much of the face do you know you mess around and look like? And then if it's supposed to be blind, so you're not even supposed to say this is what you look like.
But the producers like that. They're like, oh.
Exactly.
Because they see it and they're like, go.
Right,
go.
because in the same episode, there was another guy who had asked, I guess, how somebody had looked, and then she had responded, well, this is not what the experiment is about, or whatever the case is. So I'm sitting there like, how do you showcase one side where they're talking about appearance, but then the other side where they're saying because appearance isn't supposed to...
The producers of the show...
They know exactly what they're doing.
They see that, and they're like... This is, especially if they see the girl, they're like, she does not look like fucking Megan Fox, but this is fucking gold. Roll, let it roll, roll. They're like, keep going. Because that's exactly what it is. They're searching for those moments in time where they get that fucking like, that. Because then that became a thing. Everyone started laughing. They're like, oh, I look like Megan Fox. Again, if I'm in there, I'd be like, yeah, some people say I look like Brad Pitt. So others say Leo DiCaprio, but I don't know. Personally, I don't see it.
Yeah, they're doing it. I think truly
they
now,
love that shit,
those shows, not only is it just like building off of the drama and everything, it seems as if the people go on there specifically in order to either grow a personal brand, because more often than not, they already don't have one. Right. And then from that point, it's just clout off of that period.
This is one big thing, the issue with reality TV, because you do have those standout stars that have built a living off of it. You look at all the Jersey Shore people. Right. They've all culminated like some sort of following. They've built a brand. They've built an entire profession based on that TV. So everyone wants to do TV hoping for that. Right. They don't always get it. Great example. I did reality TV. I did a show with MTV. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it. Whatever. It's not going to air anymore. Found out it wasn't going to air. But everyone that went on there, the way they talked about it was, yo, life is about to change. Right. Life is about to change for all of us. Life is about to change. That was their entire approach the entire time. Like, we're gonna be a star, And it's like I don't think you guys realize how the whole fucking game works. Right. Because even if the show let's say the show had come out, people might see these people, but they're not gonna just follow you if there's no reason to follow you. It's based off of the performance of the show. Like, there will be those who now go and they'll maybe attracted to your page, but then how do you retain them? Well, so here's a great example, and I discovered this the other day. In the world that we live in now, there's a Squid Game on Netflix. I watched that one. Yes. There was a Squid Game reality show. Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know. I know of the television show. There was a Squid Game reality show. And there was a contestant on there that I really liked. He was like the noble one. He was like the leader. He took an L he sacrificed himself for the team. I saw him live on TikTok the other day. Dude had like 50 people watching him. I'm like, how do you go from Netflix, hundreds of millions of viewers, to having 50 people watching you on TikTok live? There are those who know how to monetize themselves, and then I guess those who don't. The TV, it's almost like we talked about it before. The TV is a great like launch pad. Right. Like if you were to be on the NBA like celebrity all-star game, but I guess in that case you're already a celebrity. But let's say you just find a way on TV, it launches you up. But if people don't have a reason to follow you, they're not going to keep following you. So that's what I think happens with reality TV. And the producers, they milk the fuck out of it because they want a specific reaction. Right. And I think if the people can now buy into who it is that they're watching, to where now it's like, all right, I'm in a position to where I'm watching this person and I can relate to them. So now I'm living vicariously through them on the show. So when they win, it feels like I won. And that's kind of, I guess, what the producers are looking for towards. But what I can't seem to grasp, is from the viewer's perspective, how do you get so immersed into it without recognizing this is a farce to a certain degree? Well, I don't know if it's that, because, so great example, my wife, she did reality TV. Yeah. She hated it. She's like, this is the worst experience ever. They don't care about you as a person. They just want the drama. Right. They don't care how you look, as long as it puts money in whatever the company is, MTV, Netflix, puts money in their pockets. They don't care how you look. They just want to make money for them. They don't care how you look. Right. So my wife hated it because it's like when I was there, they were literally just like manipulating me to like they're telling me to do what because producers, they're in your ear. Like during these reality TV shows, when she said, oh, I kind of look like Megan Fox, they could have easily cut that out.
Right.
But they put that in there on purpose. The producers were like, okay, so on your next meeting with him, say the same, like go in harder on that. Like producers will tell you what they think will work.
Right.
And they advise you, because they were advising me on the show, like, oh, but Renee, what's your strategy here? What, don't you want to win the game? What's your strategy? And I'm like, listen, because I remember for me, producers would have meeting, they would pull you to the side and like talk to you about like, hey, what's your strategy to win this game? They kind of want to get into your psyche
to try to manipulate.
Yeah.
Right.
And then for me, I'm kind of like, I looked at TV complete opposite of my wife. She hated it. She's like, they manipulate you. We talked about it earlier, but for me, I was like, this is a fucking vacation. In the real world, I got a business to run. I got meetings. I got rent. I got bills. I got all this shit. And here, I'm kind of like, I'm chilling, hanging out, TV, give me a check, TV. Like it was literally just, everyone's all stressed out. I'm like, guys, the fuck? If you stressed out in here, you're gonna be stressed out in life.
Right. I guess it all comes down to intention when you go in, because of course they would probably sell you the dream when they bring everybody else in, like you said earlier, where they're like, hey, this is gonna change your life or whatever. Yeah. That probably would galvanize people to say, hey, I want to go and do this. Almost like the Squid Game in the television show, where they were like, yo, you have an opportunity to go back to the regular life that you live in, or you can take a chance on yourself and see if you can win.
Don't get me wrong. For me, I was looking forward to it because I have the resource. I already had like a rollout plan afterwards. The second that the shit dropped, I would have had fucking like 7 editors just clipping everything for me. Boom, boom, boom.
Do a press tour and all the other stuff.
Do all of that, yeah.
Right.
Hit every single podcast. Like I had a list of everything. Other people don't necessarily have that. But that being said, when I was there, I was kind of like, they're whispering in your ear. They're telling you kind of what to do. You know? And I think the average person that wants to be a star, they're sold the hey, it's going to change your life. They're sold that, and it makes them more suggestible because they're willing to do whatever it takes to get to that.
Right. So then they'll go over there, act a fool, or maybe be made a fool of in order to gain public sympathy or whatever. Because even when, and to go back to like the Love is Blind thing, where one of the characters, I guess he didn't make it towards the end. I think he was only there in the selection
David,
stage.
can you look up these Love is Blind people?
Yeah,
can you
like
check
different,
because
I only saw 2 episodes, but in the 2 episodes, I took so much away from it because one guy, I could see there was mass editing on when he was in the pod talking to the people.
Yeah.
So one girl started talking because he had like a list of maybe 16 questions or something. He was wearing glasses. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But he went in there and they edited it in a way to where while he was asking questions and the girls were rambling on, he just got up, left the room, and then she was there just like, oh, hello, are you still there? And I remember when I saw it, I'm like, there's no way this would even legitimately happen, 1, and then 2, make TV to where it's supposed to make him look like a viable selection. Yeah. So I went to the Instagram page and he was in the comments trying to defend himself like, yo, they manipulated the edit. I never walked out on anybody like that. People are in the comments like, you're an asshole. I can't believe you would do that. You chauvinist, misogynistic pig. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's no way that you could watch this and think it's legitimate, but that's the way that they were selling it.
And the way it is too, it's like, the more I think about it, I'm like, yo, there's money in that, because think about it. You grab all these people that you know it's going to be a volatile situation.
Yep.
Right? Vulnerable, young, impressionable. Grab all these people. Give them the allure of like, hey, this is going to change your life. Stick them in a room. Whisper something in their ear. Have them fucking, and you make your show. And reality TV, you technically can't tell them what to do. Right. But you can make suggestions, and if they do it, it's on them.
Yeah.
Because even for me, like I said, they were telling me like, hey, Renee, you should do this. Hey, Renee, you should do this. I'm like, hey, listen, bro, I'm like, what's your strategy? I'm like, I'm just out here vibing.
Right.
I'm like, no, but that's not a strategy. I'm like, nah, vibing is my strategy. Like, I would mess with them, and I don't think they liked me for that. But I got really far on the show, which they're not going to release, by the way, which sucks, but it's okay. I offered to buy it. They Paramount said no.
They said no?
Their pockets are so deep, they don't give a fuck, right?
But there's got to be a way to where you can get your, because how long was the entire experience?
This is my theory. Again, I could get in trouble if I talk like
this,
but we'll figure it out. This is my theory. I think MTV, Paramount, they had a specific vision for their show, like how every show now is very progressive.
Right.
They had a progressive vision for the show. They brought in a bunch of people. They were like, hey, let's get these people and put them in like a capitalistic society, but within like a dome, like in a confined like society that's capitalistic. And sure enough, they took like a self-made millionaire. They took people that were working in the line as a fry cook. They took people that were kind of like different walks of life.
Right.
Straight, gay, black, white, et cetera, man, woman, all of them, right? And I think they expected a different outcome, but the way shit went down, it's like fucking the dude that was a little farm boy, he got eliminated first. He couldn't hang in there, right? The dude that was like a fry cook, he got eliminated second. The people that make it to the very, very end is like me, who's self-made millionaire, and the only reason I made it to the end is because I was working harder than everyone else, right? And I was like very non-stressed about the situation. Everyone was living under an intense amount of stress. And there was another girl, a good friend of mine now, Gabby, David knows her too, that's how I met David. And she was like also just a super hardworking, we both come from immigrant families, we're both like anti-socialism, we're both like I think they put us in there to teach us a lesson of like, you know what, we should share and be friendly as a society. But it ended up being like a capitalistic thing where the person who worked the harder
goal
won.
of the show was to try to bring everybody together,
That's
but
my
then
thought
there
process.
was still a hierarchy situation.
So yeah, I think what they wanted, right, in their ideal world, MTV, Paramount, I could be wrong, it's all speculation. They put me in there, I'm self-made millionaire. I'm living like this in real life, right? I have a gigantic place. They take a guy who's like a fry cook who might not be living as lavish.
Right.
And then he becomes in charge of me.
Okay.
And now, since he's in charge of me, now I have to experience he gets to experience what it's like to live lavish and not have responsibilities. Because if you're the president in the show, they feed you really well, you have no responsibilities, et cetera, et cetera. And then the people at the bottom, like you live in like a bunk, like a prison type situation where you have to work every single day, you have to clean, you have to wash dishes.
But then in the midst of doing all of that, you're able to work your way back up to being the president?
It's a voting game. So
it's a voting game. Okay, cool, got you.
The politics on top of the work. You can win even if you're at the bottom because you win competitions, you like work.
And then who votes? The entire group?
The entire group.
Interesting,
so
okay.
I think for them, they wanted kind of like a you know what, I learned that even though I'm there on the outside, when I'm in here, I could very easily be on the bottom as well. And then for the other guys, like, hey man, if the cards were dealt differently, I could have been at the top. Like they wanted like that switching and like getting to know the other's perspective. Right. Instead, I came in that bitch. I was like, man, I fucking knew it. I took over in this bitch. I took over outside.
And they kept voting for you.
It's no different, yeah, because I politic the whole shit. So I was politicking with everybody. And I was like, yo, it don't matter if I'm outside, I'm the king. It don't matter if I'm in here, I'm the king. What the fuck you want? So I think they didn't get that learning lesson that like, I have sympathy for people at the bottom because I've experienced what it's like to be at the bottom. Right. Like there was never that click that they wanted. Instead, it was exactly like how it fucking panned out. It was too realistic in the way that in real life, you throw us in real life, me and all these people, I'm gonna end up on top. That's exactly what happened again. So because of that, I think MTV didn't really like that. It's a hard sell to the common man. Because then it almost makes them feel like, okay, this guy's fucking rich already. He doesn't deserve it. Especially
if it's a matter of the peers are the ones who vote. Because now if you're looking from the outside, like, why do you keep voting for this person to be at the top? I don't get it. That was like the big part of it. At the end, me and my friend Gabby, it was between us to win. And it came down to votes. Yeah. And like we had one closing argument. I delivered a really powerful speech, professional speaker. So I delivered a powerful speech. Gabby's was like, he's already a millionaire. Why would you give him more money? We were playing for $100,000. And they're like, why would you give him more money? He's already a millionaire. I actually need this. And I was like, valid, but right. Interesting. So that just kind of goes to show also with like the mindset of those in different stages of life, where if you're more of a humble individual, you wouldn't put yourself in that position. Like, because I could assume the person who's a farmer, like you come from humble beginnings, you're in a different sort of situation, you kind of don't want to be in the limelight. So would you even want to be voted as the leader? I think what it is too, it's like almost like an aura. So, because the first vote, this is how it kind of panned out. The very first vote, we didn't know each other. Yeah, you guys didn't know each other at all. They walked into the compound. Right, they said, hey, you have 5 minutes to talk. I didn't say shit because I walked in. I was like, oh, this is fucking weird. I'm in with all these random people. I don't got to be here. I'd rather be at home. Right. But there was guys that came in there and they were just, so who's from LA? Right. Oh, sick. I'm from here. Like dudes that were just like peacocking it. Big. Right. I didn't say one word in the first 5 minutes. I just kind of looked around. I was assessing everybody. They started the voting. One girl votes for me because I was quiet.
And I think also because the farmer guy was a little smaller, a little more like timid, it's just body language, right? So
Right.
I got the vote from me. I have the tattoos, I have the hair, I have kind of like a look. But because of that, the other person voted for me, then the next person, and then everyone started voting, boom, 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 boom. And then you put me at the top from the very beginning, bro. It's like I'm gonna engineer the whole game.
Right.
So I just kind of.
It sounds like a very interesting concept for a show.
And then because I stacked the deck, I don't think they like it. They're not going to air it. I offered to buy the show. I had a partner, a production company that was willing to help me do it. We were going to offer like 500,000 to $1 million. Paramount, they got big pockets. They said fuck you. And yeah, so they're I think they're remaking the show. So they can fit that. Now, this is my because it's all on camera. I really, really want to see if I was right about my hypothesis. So we'll see how this comes out. We'll see my hypothesis. If I was a gambling man, I would bet that I was right.
Right.
I don't know if did you hear about the new Bruno? I don't know if I would go Bruno Mars and go 50 million, but I would bet that I was right. Did you hear about the Bruno Mars thing, though?
Oh yeah, I did about $50 million in debt at the MGM Grand.
It's my Filipino
Casino.
boy, those Filipinos.
Yeah.
They be fucking gambling.
No, but here's what's weird to me. I can't seem to fathom how one would get that deep in the hole. It's just
I don't think it's
at
the
what
hole,
point
though.
do you stop?
So this is the way I see it. I don't really think it's the whole. I think it's like house money. So great example. You know Drake, how he does, he's always betting like $1 million.
Right.
On $1 million on this fight. And he loses like every time. He's got to be like.
He's had some wins. He's had some wins, but he's lost a great deal.
Yeah, in the hole too.
Yeah, he's had a great deal of losses.
But the reason that he's able to do it because he has the stake deal.
Right.
So it's not even his money. It's like house money that he's gambling with.
Because if you're advertising for the company, then they kind of pay. Because
they give you stake gives them like, oh, we'll give you $20 million cash. We'll also give you like $50 million to gamble with.
Right.
So he could be in the hole $50 million. It don't matter.
It publicly it looks that way, but then you're not. But the only thing that I would say with Bruno Mars, where it's a little bit different, is if it's like virtual gambling, then that's one thing. If you're physically inside. If you're trying to, I guess, get high rollers to go and also continually play, that's one thing. But if you're individually losing, I don't see how a stake deal can work. No, but with
Bruno Mars, he has a residency.
No, he does, but where he's bringing in about like 90 million annually. But then as all these things work, you get a percentage of whatever that may be. So let's just say if you're paying for all the different production, you have to cover all the different employees, you have your own team and all the other stuff. But it all depends.
Bruno Mars could look at it as like, okay, 90 million, I get the fucking best suite at the MGM.
Right.
I get to gamble. For him, it's like a free life, pretty much. The way I look at it, it's like I get all this shit, and I get to gamble, and it's all tax write-off if I lose anyway. Like,
well,
he could theoretically
to a certain degree, because with the 50 million, I mean, there's still going to be 50 million one way or another. There's only so much that you can mess around and write off. Like, because you could write off a ton of different business expenses, but if you're doing this solely,
well, can you write off gambling expenses?
Not if it's for work. Like, if he does have a deal like that, to where they're funding him to go and play, to a certain degree, you can.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're fronting the money. So he like gets the gamble, and he's like, "Yo, I'm Bruno. I got a $900 million deal with the casino." They front you because there was a report about like Drake with it was like Caesar's Palace too. Like Drake, he owed them $10 million, but that's because they front you the money when you have a residency.
Right.
So when I saw that, I was kind of like, it makes sense because the dude's Filipino. He got caught with a bunch of coke. He's a rock star.
Wait a minute. Hold on, that's a crazy.
Dude's a rock star.
Well, yeah, but then still, you're in a position to where you still owe, like you still got to pay back.
I mean, but if they technically owe you 90, you owe them 50.
You would look at it like, yeah, it halves out, but that's assuming that he has the deal, and there still would be a bit of.
He has a residency.
No, he does have a residency, but it's all about if they are funding the situation to where you can go and gamble. Then that makes sense. But if in the event they're not, and he's going on his own volition, now I don't want to say you're fucked because you're able to generate that money anyway.
I think when people look at it, they assume that it's gonna be like, hey, he's going and taking his money and then gambling.
Right.
In reality, I think it's closer to like, hey, it's fucking Bruno Mars. We'll front him all like the gambling stuff, and then we'll sort it at the end. I think that's really what it is. So because of that,
maybe. And then now they kind of have like with the MGM, they came out, they were talking about it's not really he doesn't owe that much or whatever. But Shannon Sharp on his podcast, he was talking about how he knew a high roller who said he watched Bruno Mars lose 17 million or watched somebody lose 17 million. I believe he said Bruno Mars. So don't quote me on that. But one way or another, I mean, hey, if you've got it to where you can go and risk that much, then by all means. But me personally, that's 50 million. You can't have no real friends.
That's so fire. So when you look at Bruno Mars, he's probably worth like 300 M's.
Yeah, it's like
already.
175, I think he's
He's
at.
worth 175?
Yeah, I think 175.
He has a $90 million residency. Because the only reason people take these residencies is because the fucking money is disgusting.
Right.
Because think about it, like, if you have... The reason residencies work so well, like Adele, we're talking about Adele.
Yeah.
Think about how much foot traffic you're bringing into that casino and how much
Right.
that casino is making just because they have the Adele residency.
Yeah.
Now they're selling Adele tickets for like 20 grand. It don't matter because
she was making about like 920 something thousand per show. I think Usher was making between 600 grand to $1 million per show. Ton of people who go to Vegas, like even when Britney Spears was there, she was probably bringing in, I think, about like 500 grand or something per show.
Yeah.
So it's always a situation where it's a cash cow. You got a ton of money that's coming in because there's a shit ton of money in Vegas. I was just there this past weekend. It's ridiculous.
Vegas, so I'm Filipino too. I'm like Bruno Mars. Every time I go to Vegas, I go 50 million in debt. Not 50 million. Every time I go to Vegas, I've lost some fucking. I went to Vegas one time and I was down like 7-8 grand.
Good Lord. See, most I've ever been down.
This was like in an hour.
Right. Oh, God. What was your game?
Craps.
Craps? Oh, I hate craps.
Because
I played it one time. Never played it again.
Well, the reason I did it is because I used to go to Vegas with like women. I was on my Bruno Mars, got my little bumpy. This bitch got me, and I'm on the craps table. Ooh. I don't know why I think Bruno Mars. Ooh.
He probably doing that, but that 24K magic turned into 50 million.
Magic.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm in there like, ooh. And like, what did he say? He has a spend that money like money ain't shit. Like I was really in that Bruno Mars mood. So I'd go there, pumped up, you start throwing dice. Ooh.
Have you ever had a big win to where it kind of...
Yeah. You win all... Like, last time I was in Vegas, I was up like 4 grand. I left because I had a wife.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Smart man.
Most
I've ever won in Vegas, I think it was maybe about like $150. Yeah. And then most I've ever lost, I think... the most I've ever lost was... I went up. Well, this was in Atlantic City, so I went with $600 last year because I didn't want to play high. I said, all right, I'll go $600, whatever. I ended up going up $1,600. So I'm like, oh boy, I should probably get up and leave. But I had already mentally told myself I'm going to use this entire $600. I ended up going down to $400. So theoretically, I lost $1,400. But realistically, I only lost $2.
I've done some dirty shit. Because the way I look at it is like money's fake to me. You go there. Let's say I go with a $5,000 budget, right, just to blow it. I remember one time. I went there, I was up like a bunch. I was up, like I spent like $300, went up 2 grand, took 2 grand, put it on black, lost it all.
Yep.
But I was like, yo, put it on black, let's just double it before we leave, right? Like we took 400, we made it 2 grand. Let's just put this on black before we leave, double it, walk out with 4 grand. Lost all of it the last play. I was like, oops. Whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I need a piece so bad.
You got to make peace with it one way or another. With losing.
Hold on, wait. I need to use the restroom. This is a good conversation. Continue the conversation.
Yeah. Well, see, look at the sprint. Look at the sprint. It's a sprinting Filipino. Very interesting form of running there. But still, I can't seem to wrap my mind around $50 million in debt for Bruno Mars is crazy. Now, granted, there could be a possibility where man's got a deal, invisible chair. But with that being the case, I still think it's a situation where you got no real friends. There's no way you got an actual friend who would tell you, hey, keep playing, or maybe not even put you in a straitjacket to keep you away from the damn casino, because that's a crazy amount of money to lose. Even if you all have a net worth of $175 million, because a lot of people think net worth is cash on hand when it's not. It's just assets versus liabilities. You don't got that kind of money. So $50 million is wild. I'm curious in the comment section, what was the most amount of money you've ever lost in a casino, or if you happen to be playing anywhere? Because Vegas is crazy. If you've never been to Vegas, I always say go. It's a cool experience, but there are casinos literally everywhere. You go into the bathroom, there's a casino. You're in the airport, there's a casino. You go over to a casino, there's casinos inside of the casinos. The restaurants, there's casinos. You can't escape it. Slot machines everywhere. And here's the last thing that I'm probably gonna say regarding casinos. Here's what I don't understand, right? Now, granted, there's gonna be like the Instagram guru in me, but why is it that people are so quick to go and gamble their money away for instant gratification, but they can't put it towards like delayed gratification? Why can't you take this same money that you're throwing away? Where if you're averaging every single time you walk into the casino, you're losing between $500 to a couple of $1,000. Why don't you just put that money into investing in yourself?
I'm a dangerous
Why would you
man
go
with some
over
money
here?
in my pocket.
That's
Keep
one of
up.
his lines, and clearly they are keeping up with the debts. The debt collectors is keeping up.
He was a very dangerous man with some money.
He was.
In his pocket.
How was he? But I can't seem to understand why is it that people are so quick to go and gamble everything away, but they won't gamble on themselves per se.
Man, listen. You know why?
Why is it always instant gratification rather than delayed?
Put your pinky ring up to the moon.
He's not gonna have one. 50 million in the hole. It's crazy to me. I'm curious what the actual number is because I know he's probably in the hole for sure. Because I think the most that Charles Barkley had lost in a day was like 5 million. I think Michael Jordan was probably between like 1 and 10.
Did you see the thing? It was like we thought Bruno Mars was MJ, but he was really MJ.
Yeah. Shit's crazy. I can't seem to understand it.
So the way
why
I look
you
at
lose
it,
that much
it's
money?
these guys because I feel for it. Thankfully, I'm not that intense. I got a grip on it because I'm a pussy, but also because I want to take care of my future. These guys that are addicted to winning, MJ, Michael Jordan, he just loves that feeling of winning is so addictive to him. It's like fucking crack to him.
Right.
That he gambles, he plays golf, he does all of these things and he wants to win. He's just addicted to it. Bruno Mars, probably like the same thing. That's why he got caught that's why he has the cocaine charge. Because he has that dopamine hit. He's addicted to that dopamine hit. So then he goes and fucking does the gambling too because he loves that dopamine hit. Because there's nothing like a dopamine hit, but from that type of thing, like winning something. Because think about it, if he's down, if he's down 17 mil in one night, imagine there's some nights where he's probably up $10 million.
Right. Because at what point do you walk away? For me, it's always like a 50%. Like when I was in Vegas this past weekend, I walked in. All I had was $50 cash because I don't carry cash like that. So I was just like, all right, I walked past the roulette. I stopped and I had like a staring contest with it for about 17 seconds. I said, fuck it, put the $50 in there. And I said, okay, let's just see how fast I can lose it. I had the small wins here and there. And I just said, all right, you know what? Let's just throw
with gambling, it always goes to zero.
It always ends up going to zero. I ended up going up. I think I went up to like $145. I'm like, oh, great. So, yeah, I went up to $145. I'm like, oh, boy. All right, we're going to leave it at 100 is the floor. If I get down to 100, so I just bet even to the point once it got to 100, I said, all right, cool, I'm leaving. I doubled my money. I'm out of here. And I usually in my mind is whatever I play with, I just want to leave with a W at least.
I think it's the illusion, though, of like, let's say you turn 50 into 140. You're like, I did that with my skill. I'm the reason that
it's a mental I know how to predict it. And funny enough, it was a black 14 that had got me to the 145. And then I said, you know what? We're just going to play with 45 and leave it with double. I'm the one that did it with
my brain. If I could make it into 140, I can make it into 600 or 1,000 or 20,000. Like, do you automatically assume that?
Right.
And you don't know when to walk away.
And I've seen people get caught up. And I guess we could close with this was I've been inside of different casinos, whether it's been in Queens, whether it's been in Atlantic City, whether it's been in Vegas, where somebody's on a hot streak.
Yeah.
And they're loud about it. Because what I've noticed is if you're winning, shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing. Because I've seen this dude, they were, I think it was roulette.
I'm a dangerous man
over
with some
here.
money in my
Clearly,
pocket.
the man's was having the time of his life. The girls started coming over, bigging him up. The dudes is over here cheering him on and everything. Ooh. And the whole group shows up behind you. And I'm just watching. I'm like, yo, you up right now. I think at the time he was up about 13 grand. And I was there, I was watching. I was like, yo, he should just leave right now. Because he had 4 straight wins. Like he had bet on all black. He got himself a win there. And because his pay-in ticket was high, you'll get a decent amount back. Yeah. So it was all on black. Great. Then he bet on green. He was able to get the green. I was like, oh my God, that's what took him to 10 grand. And then he had 2 couple of grand wins here and there. So it was like 1,500 one and the other one maybe about like 14 or whatever. He had gotten to the point where you could see he's got like 13, at least 13 grand was there. And I'm just looking, I'm like, yo, leave now. Just leave now. But the hot streak had got to him. Yeah. So he's like, nah, I'm gonna do it again. He did 3 more bets and he had nothing left.
Blew all of it.
3 more bets and had nothing left. Yeah. Everybody who was right there with him cheering, they all left.
Well, no, because so I've experienced that exact thing with craps when I'm the one rolling, right? And like you start feeling like the man because I did a roll. It was a long roll. And we were making money. I think that one roll, I was up like $2-3 grand with just one roll.
Right.
Right? There's like girls there. I'm like, here, blow it for good luck. The girl will blow the dice, throw it over. Like everyone's like, oh. And then with craps, if you win, everyone else wins.
Yeah.
So you're almost like betting on the same thing. You're on the same team. So the more you win, they're like, yo, keep rolling, keep rolling. So like I'm just going. I'm like, boom, boom, and I'm up like $2-3 grand on this roll, and it's the best feeling ever. Though you want to drink, like people like because they give you free drinks.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want? I'm like,
that's how they get you. That's how they get you. It's a beautiful system.
And I was like, bro, it takes them a while to bring the drinks. I was there for like fucking 2 drinks, free drinks, just drinking.
You on a hot streak.
So on a hot streak. Winning big, right? And I remember that one day, I think I was up like $4,500, went back to the hotel, went to bed. Next day, I went down like $3 grand before I finally pulled out.
Yeah.
It's
a up and down roller coaster.
I leave when I win though. If I have like one really good one, I think, you know how when you play basketball, it's like you always have to leave on a shot?
Yeah.
So like if I have one really good one, I'm like, that's all I needed.
Right.
I'm not going to let this get ruined because that's how you spiral.
Yeah.
So if I have a good one, I'll leave and I'll start again the next day.
And I always envision if I was to have like a day where you cannot be stopped with your winnings. Like I think the most I've ever seen somebody actually physically win in a casino is like 400 grand. And I just so happened to pass by when they were no, this was in Queens.
The fuck?
Yeah, it was in the Queens casino.
Queens?
Yeah, dude was up, and I happened to pass by because I was leaving roulette. That's when I had went up the 1600 and ended up going with only 4. But no, I think when I left it, no, I had won 1,000 is when I left it. So I was walking by and I saw he was up incredible amount. And then once he had crossed the 400 grand mark, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to stick around and make it seem as if I may be with this person. Because I started noticing there was, I don't want to say security, but there were some questionable looking individuals who were just walking in the distance, just kept staring at the table. So situations like that make me think of like in all the movies when you're supposed to go into casinos and lose.
Right.
But when you win so much, now they're like, yo, wait a minute. Are they rigging the game? Are they cheating?
Well, it becomes that because it's a numbers game.
Right.
They know like, oh, even if it's as close as possible, even if it's like 51% to 49%.
Right.
49% like is your chance to win.
Right.
That's the most. It's always gonna be stacked against you. Like you could win 49 times. That 50th time, you're gonna lose.
Right.
So when someone's winning that much, they do see the sketchy guys do watch.
Right.
I don't think they do anything on the first try. Like you get away with it one time.
Yeah.
But let's say you continue to win every single time.
Right.
Like, okay, this is sketchy.
That's exactly because once I saw he was over the 400 grand mark, I looked at it and I saw the questionable characters approaching. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't even want to. Like my curiosity wants me to stay here to see how this all plays out. Because if he just says, oh, well, that's great, I'm cashing out, guys. No, I'm going to cash out and then leave just to see what happens.
I don't think anything would happen. I think that would be
I saw them like, yeah, you know what? I'm about it because I saw them in the distance because the roulette table over here, and I think he was either playing blackjack or it was roulette. But in that casino, they're not too far from each other.
What I think it is I think those guys, they want to observe,
right?
Because they check all their dealers. Like these casinos, they're super anti-cheat. They have a camera, right? They have eye in the sky.
Right. Yeah, I noticed all of that stuff once I walked in.
They're probably, those guys are probably sketchy because they're watching the dealers or they're watching whoever's like rolling the ball for roulette. They're watching to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong, nothing sketchy, and that the game is fair because they know if this is fair, we're gonna win our money back.
Yeah,
you know. So that's what they're there for. But yeah, man, those casinos that's a business I would love to own. Casino.
Right.
Now, I just don't know how I feel about profiting off of sin, but I would love to own a casino because
it's a printing amount of money.
It's a bar. But more than that, it's a bar that you make money with the actual, because bars, you make money off the alcohol. You make money off the alcohol.
Yeah.
But you also make a shitload of money off the gambling.
Right. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it'll cover the overhead and then some.
Even though your odds are always like some odds, again, 51%, 49%, some games are like fucking like 60-40.
Right.
So let's say there's 100 million.
Well, I'm not sure if there's a 60-40 game. I think the top three, it's blackjack is always number one. I think blackjack, craps, roulette is probably like
those
1, 2, 3.
Play, yeah,
those are only 3 that I play, and I only played craps once. I refuse to play it again.
Slot machines are going to be a lot less too.
Yeah. So, but I've seen some big like wins. I think on the slot machine, I saw somebody like win like 70 grand.
Let's say you have a 10% margin, right? You push $1 billion. You have an addictive product. You push $1 billion through your casino. you make 100 million.
You can make a decent amount.
Yeah, bro. So it's like, that is a fucking something I would love to have. Now, how that would work logistically, maybe going back to our first part of our conversation, I don't know if we were recording yet. I think for me, I'm not big on like real estate investing, individual properties, because it's not enough money for me at this point. I think for me, my goal is to make as much money as possible, stack up like 100 M's, then buy a casino or something and own a casino, because you own a casino.
Yeah. You want to have a big enough nest egg of money to where you can purchase a big project that can print on a macro scale. Because I think on the micro scale is good, build up the portfolio and everything. But if you really want this to replace your income to where now you can be like your mentor and just every single month, 950,000 hits the bank, you got to have a large portfolio or a big ass freaking project. So like one of these damn buildings, you get one of those, man, you bringing in $250,000 every single month.
And it gets harder the more money you make, right? Because I do the math, right? Let's say I have a house and I'm making $600 profit and rent every single month. If I wanted to replace 200 grand a month, that's gonna be fucking like 300 houses.
Right.
400 houses,
it's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's a lot to manage versus if you have just one
big
property.
Thing, I hire one property management company, they do all of that.
And if you have enough active income to now cover all of the expenses, even if crisis were to happen, because let's just say if you have something that is cash flowing you 500 grand, but the overhead is about 350, if you're able to have active income that can bring you in the 350 to cover it, now it's all profit.
Yeah.
And even if crisis were to happen and it was to double in expenses, so it goes from 350 to 700 grand, if you have an active income that can cover it, you don't have to worry about it. So it's almost like you're getting money for free because you have enough to cover everything else. I think people who get into real estate, they don't have money.
You know what's crazy about these?
They get fucked on the back end and the front end.
That's a whole thing. We'll cover that in the next episode. That being said, thank you guys for watching this episode. I like this one. This one was, this is my shit. I like
wild. Real estate to cannibalism to gambling
these
reality television.
Episodes, man, because me and David were talking earlier. Fuck, I'm ranting. But me and David were talking earlier. The podcasts are my break from the hustle, because all of my content is how you make money. Here's how you hustle. Here's how you fix your mindset. So it feels good to just talk about some bullshit. Kick the shit for like an hour. Fucking amazing. I think for you, because of all your content, it's like always fun and like goofy. This is your chance to talk business for an hour. So I think we have to find a healthy balance. But
yeah, I can talk everything. I agree. I like my range of all the things. But we appreciate you guys tuning into this wild episode
of the Assiduous
Podcast, where I am, of course, the Jonin wearing Naruto apparel with the Master Feli white T-shirt man himself. But I am the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the chiseled Adonis.
And I am a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up.
The fellow Filipino Prince Tycoon, serial entrepreneur Rene Lacade. And we are Assiduous.
24 karat magic in the air. Head to toe so clear.
So clear.
Keep up. Boom, boom, boom.
I don't know the other lyrics. I ain't gonna lie to you.